Alright, briefly review Tooth on Malfurion on Ultrac Pass. First initial thoughts. This actually looks like a pretty good Malf game. Good job on that. You've got a whole bunch of beach in front of you, three frontliners. Um, got very little actual burst threat on the enemy team. They have a lot of sustained damage, so Malfurion does really well into them. Their team wants to clump a lot. You can get a lot of multi-hit Moonfires off. You've got some CC to follow up on with your root in Thrall root and Blaze E and Blaze W. The slow is enough to set up your root if you're good about it. Main DPS Tastar isn't even bad. It's not ideal maybe, but it's fine. It's definitely playable. You've got lots of map control, tons of wave clear with Blaze, Diva, Tassadar. You can be able to get camps pretty easily. Overall, I don't hate your team's draft on this map at all, and it works pretty well into their team as well. Also, I think your team is just overall a lot stronger, though you're going to struggle a bit. Um, well, they should struggle a bit with their lack of off lane. It's like Phoenix off lane. Practically, it's probably going to be Nazebo picking up Soak, but hopefully your team capitalizes on that and ganks him a few times. Um, yeah, I mean they've got some fairly standard stuff. They've got Johanna, they've got Rhaegar, but Malfurion plays pretty well into that because those heroes just want a straight brawl, and Malfurion's pretty good in straight brawls because he just keeps pumping heals onto his team. And when their team groups up, Malf just gets a bunch of free Moonfire hits. Yeah, I really like the way this is going. Your job is going to be look for follow-up E's on, as I said, Thrall or Blaze for the most part. You can try and do some cheeky stuff with Taswell too, if that happens. Largely, you want to stick around where Tassadar is, probably. Based on lane setups, we'll see how that works out. Ideally, what I would say is you probably want. Also, I think you like 1-3-1, but Thrall with the team instead of in a side lane, like sort of Thrall tank to start out with. Definitely Diva in the off lane, whatever the furthest away from the objective is. She's starting top, which I don't love because if objective spawns top, that's not great. Um, the other way you could do this is you could stick Diva mid and I guess it doesn't really work that well. Never mind. Yeah, no, you could stick like Diva mid, Thrall or Blaze top, and then you TAS and whoever isn't top. Or I guess assuming the objective spawns bot, if objective spawns top, flip those. You task and who is in top just push bot as 3, and Diva can collect camp between waves. She's fast enough at it to do that. You can collect 1-1-3 it or 3-1-1 depending on where objective is. You want the bulk of your team closer to objective, but probably the easiest way to do it is 1-3-1 with 3 mid, grab the camp when it spawns, back push mid a little bit, and then rotate to look for ganks on whoever's isolated because they don't have much offlane power. You have a lot more than they do. You can split more than they can. So if you 1-3-1, they're gonna have a rough time defending all three lanes at once, and you can look to gank whoever is vulnerable, probably Nazebo. Yeah, see how this goes. I like you getting the queues set up beforehand. Alright, couple notes about that actually. Alright, first of all, I like you getting the queue set up beforehand. I think that's something I talked about last time you played Malfurion, and now you're putting that into action. I will say maybe slightly too early, uh, because you're using mana you don't necessarily need to. Like the queues are kind of gonna run out before you get to the fight. Um, but still, it's potentially worth doing. I would save it just because your mana is a really big resource from Malfurion, especially early. Like I'd start like as the gates open, you get to like here, maybe you start pumping Qs on people. Would be more what I do, but this isn't necessarily wrong. What is wrong is reapplying this Q on your Thrall, because go back a second. Q the Thrall. 5 seconds later, you Q the Blaze. And now you're going to Q the Thrall here, but look, Thrall's still at about half duration. He still has like 9 seconds left on his Q. Refreshing Q now simply spends mana you don't need to at the moment. Still, it's an improvement though. I like that this is what you're thinking about immediately as the game starts. I still think it could be optimized slightly, as I've said, but it is a definite improvement from the last time I saw you play Malfurion, so good job on that. Do the Blaze, yep, get that back up. I like that your team's honestly splitting to lane to start with. This is fine. Ideally, you don't want Tassadar split because he's your only ranged. You want him with the bulk of the team, but at least waves will be caught. I'd queue the D.Va, honestly, at the moment. I realize she wasn't quite in Q range, but if you could have gotten in position to queue the D.Va, that would be better for 2 reasons. One, she's already missing health. Like, we're going to assume, because the Q is about to run out on Thrall, so we're going to assume neither of them have a Q on them for these purposes. One, she's already missing health, so you're going to immediately get value out of the Q. Two, she has significantly less self-sustain than Thrall, so she's going to benefit more from having you healing her than Thrall is. You can also innervate Thrall now if you want. And probably should do just yet on cooldown. Good. Okay, yeah, I would have stuck a root under that. That's a easy two-person root if you press E. Also, good job getting the multi-person W hits when you can. Already, this is a big improvement on your Malf in a multitude of ways. But yeah, E here gets both these guys. At least you do the E eventually, and that should lead to a kill. No, okay, that's fine. Don't care that much. Refresh your Q on Blaze. You kind of dropped your Qs at some point here, and now you should be able to have full uptime on all 3 of them, but you dropped a Q. It's not that big of a deal. Zoning route is not bad. I mean, if you get caught on it too, that's hilarious. Good job stepping up for another W there. You're perfectly free to. Nice job with the innervate, remembering to press that. You're dropping your Qs a little bit though still. Thrall you definitely had the opportunity to Q Thrall. Yeah, like here your Qs. Yeah, okay, I think you refreshed Q on the wrong person. Let's go back a little bit more. No, you don't. No, you queue the right person, but you do it way too late. And then you don't, even when Q comes up, you don't press it on Thrall. So, or optimizations you could do. You're better with the Qs for sure, but as you told me, Thrall or Malfurion is a very mechanically, or I don't know if I want to say mechanically intensive, but you have to put a lot of thought into his play. It's very easy to get off it's very easy to like drop your train of thought with him and miss some cues. So, man, already a big improvement. I'm happy with how you're doing now. Just pointing out areas you could still be thinking about, just so they're always in the back of your mind. I would be pinging camp, by the way. You're late on camp. You should have been doing it at 1 minute. Yeah, good kill. Also tap. And Malfurion chugs mana. Anytime tap gets value, which at this moment certainly is, just tap for the mana. The quicker you tap, the quicker your tap's off cooldown again. And if you're fighting a decent amount as Malfurion, you're going to be like mana starved for every single tap you can get. So the most value you can get out of your taps, the better. Right now, you're not going to lose mana by tapping. So it's just free mana. Better to use it now and keep yourself topped off than only use it like when you're out of mana, and then chew through that tap mana and then be out of mana again. Not a hard rotation. Again, I would have pinged camp, and now that you see your Tacitus on camp, you should go help him. He's gonna need your help. You don't need to be here. You can like drop. You can drop innervate on your Blaze, refresh Q on him, and call it a day. You self-cast Q there. You should have cast it on Blaze, because you're level 4. Gives you a Q anyway. Anytime you press Q on yourself, it's just a waste of the cooldown and the mana. Tapping now is fine. Go help your Tass on camp. He's gonna die. No, he won't die. He has a level 4 shield, but you can at least put a heal on him. So, interesting thing you can do as Malfurion, by the way. You don't actually heal people while doing camp. If there's an opportunity, it's actually better to Q whoever's healing the camp, then go fight somewhere so you can W and Bluetooth heal them back at the camp. It's much more efficient because you don't really do damage to the camp anyway, and you don't really want to waste mana on the camp. So as you were doing there, it's kind of just you press Q on them for the hot, and then you just auto attack, which doesn't do much. In this case, there wasn't really a an opportunity to go W people to heal your Tassadar. I'm just pointing it out as something you can think about. It's not that important, but fun thing to think about. Get a Q on that Thrall. You also innervate him. Innervate. Oh, yep, better late than never. Should get a Q on your Blaze. Good. Yeah, I'm not gonna point out every time you're missing Q. I'll just occasionally say it. Uh, you can certainly watch through this VOD and find all the places you missed Q. Pretty easy to see in the replay. Q your Blaze. Also an innervate on your Thrall. Q your Thrall. Ugh. Yeah, he's fine. You can step up here. There's no threat on you. You can step up and get some use. If you're stepped up a little more, you could root their gate and make it so Johanna dies. Like, let's go back a little bit. Yeah, like you can step up here. There's zero threat on you. You're totally fine to be stepping up, even to auto. Here, you can still step up more. Again, no threat. If you look, Gazebo has 0 mana. Um, you're under the D.Va bomb. It's very difficult for you to focus them down. And if you're stepping up to get an E here to cut off their escape, you can try and secure a kill. Especially now, Blaze goes in on the Johanna, and even though she presses D, your team's all hitting her. That shield's gonna burn off. If you're walking up to the gate, you can cut off her escape. Like, look how low she got because the task wall stalled her out a little bit. If she was rooted and there was a task wall, maybe even after the root, I think that's a kill. Q's dropped. You have Q off cooldown. 2 people need it. Again, you can step up and root the gate and try and get that Zebo kill. Innervate your Blaze as well as queuing him. Ah, yeah, queued the wrong person. She still had some Q on her. Blaze had no Q. Ooh, this is bad. Good E reflex. I think you are dead. Oh, you walked back into them. If you keep walking down, you might be able to get back out. Now, let's go back even further. Could you have predicted this rotate? Yes, you see Zarya coming up from below. You don't really see the Phoenix, but you at least know someone's gonna come from below you. Yeah, if you start walking down, your next Q should go on D.Va probably. Blaze if you can get to him, but he's moving away. Yeah, if you keep walking away, you might be able to live. Because you're getting those fat multi-hit Ws, which is some break healing. With D.Va sort of running interference, you might be able to get out. And if you can get out, you keep getting those fat multi-hit Ws. You can keep your team up, and you might just win the team fight. Very big maybe. It was a good rotate by them. And then your team really clucked. And you didn't see the Phoenix. You could have assumed the you saw the Zarya, but I don't fault you too much for falling for it. Personally, I probably would have too. Your diva has conjured a Proteus into this game. Fascinating. The task on your get an innervate on your task, even though he's not missing that much mana, innervate also gives them a 50% cooldown recharge, which is equivalent to about cutting a third off of all their cooldowns while it's active. So even in a team fight, if no one's missing a ton of mana, dumping innervate on someone just gets them more abilities, which is really cool. Those are W's. There you go. Still playing too far back, and these guys really do not have much engaged threat. E-Build Phoenix is kind of a problem, but I don't think he's really able to warp it on you if you're in the middle of your team. I think there's too many things that mess him up to do that. At level 10, you have to be more careful because Blessed Shield might catch you. But for right now, there's like no CC that can catch you. It's really just uh, will E-Build Phoenix warp in on you, and even if he does, I don't think you care that much. So you should be stepping up into. You should have a lot of freedom to step up and get maximum Moonfire hits.
May the wilds claim you.
I would have queued your Blaze, I believe it was, as he was rotating away. Blaze or Thrall, either here. Just because I think did Diva have a Q on her at the time? She did not. Okay, so there is an argument for queuing Diva, but I would still go for one of these two, just because they're rotating away from you. Diva's gonna stay with you for the next few seconds. So refreshing a Q on Thrall or on Blaze means that they're gonna get healing for the next 20 seconds. Um, and you won't be able to get a Q on them later. Versus Diva here, you miss out on 5 seconds of healing, but you can Q her later, so then she gets healing after the fact. These guys don't get healing if you don't Q them now. Something to think about on Malfurion. And you're essentially a global healer. If you have Q on them, they get healed wherever they are, so it's good to prioritize healing people who are about to leave you, so that you can abuse that fact. Let's see, now if you'd gotten a Q on these guys, they would have been getting, well, they wouldn't have been getting W healing, but they would have gotten at the very least Q heal over time value while they were fighting. You're a Thrall, good. And innervate him, good. Lots better ability usage overall, again, from the last time. Again, you don't need to be that scared. You can still be stepping up. Like it's Rhaegar, Zarya, and Dezebo. Yeah, no CC threat. You don't have to worry about Phoenix even warping in on you right now. You can be stepping up and getting W hits or even sleep hits. You do have Johanna rotating up, but not that big of an issue. This is fat. Oh my god. Alright. Good lord. Yeah. Thank you for your sacrifice, Tassadar. You created the fattest diva bomb in history. Honestly, I just back here. You're not missing that much resources, but you can get this little bit of mana back, and you have some bit of downtime while the objectives push up. It's largely free to do so, and you can conserve your tap. I would go push mid, I think. Knocking the divas should largely be fine by herself. Knocking the mid fort down is... I think knocking the mid fort down is the highest priority at the moment. Just because if mid fort's down for them, that means... Well, so the next objective is going to spawn up here, right? But even if you don't know that, either going to spawn here or here. Their side is. If you knock down mid fort, that opens up um, this area, and this area for each of those objective spawns respectively. So essentially, it's opening up both objective spots a little bit, which is the best you're gonna get. So it gives you a higher chance of being able to capture the next objective. I could also see that, but bot is also boss lane. Also, you had a root opportunity there. Like, as she's rooted there, you can follow up with another root. Stroll out. So now you do have to be careful. Ooh, that's a fat root. That was shield out. Yep. Cool. So now you don't have to be careful of anything anymore. Keep your Qs refreshed. You drop Q on Thrall. Nice. Sorry, I picked the battle and it's now realizing why it's the battle. Innervate and Q your tasks. Fortunately, no forts. That's fine, though. Nice. Good job, Thrall, and you for knocking down that fort. At least you got a fort out of it, and mid's still low. But you can perhaps try and push with this camp that you're getting. Speaking of which, you don't need to be here. Thrall's fine by himself. Again, I would go help your, well, maybe you stay. He's fine. Nice. Execute on your Tassadar, and I would be looking to push this camp in and knock down mid fort. Since you were actually later on your camp, you get to clear their camp, and then your camp gets to push. You are ceding mid or bot fort to it, but I think this is a worth trade. Where's your Blaze? Oh, he's in base. Okay, you're seeing top and bot fort, which is not a great trade. I don't hate stepping up to this, honestly. You see all of them on the map. Like, you can get some wall damage. This is still fine. There's literally no one to stop you. You can stay. You still see all of them on the map. Okay, you no longer see the fellows from bot on the map. So now this rotate out is fine. I'd be pinging like danger or retreat on Tassadar just so he knows, because he's about to get rotated on. Especially since he's alone. Fortunately, they backed instead of, oh, never mind. He's very dead. Yeah. Pings could have saved your Tassadar here. Oh wow, he got the entire keep for it though. That's so worth. Alright, I'm not a believer. He got the entire keep. Now boss is too greedy. You can't boss. You're getting rotated on, by the way. You need to be ready to get out. You can't be doing this. It's not worth for you all to die for this fort. Yeah. So, you know you're going to get rotated on. Because literally where else are they going to go? Like, you see them all rotate out from top. So you have about 5 seconds here. At this point, I start backing up. Now, you can sort of stay in range, but I'd be sort of like hovering at the edge here so that you can run away. And your mouth, you can, well, you can't really see people getting going on your mouth, but at the very least, you're better than everyone else is at it. Your priority should be living. Also, I just noticed you're not cleanse. If you're comfortable with cleanse, cleanse is good here because it cleanses Blessed Shield. If you're not comfortable with cleanse, that's totally fine. Wild Growth is a fine alternative, but I think cleanse can potentially save people. Like if you're over here, you don't get caught in the Blessed Shield, you can cleanse these two off the shield, and perhaps they can do something. Eva at the very least can bomb sooner. Yeah, so you all in for the fort, but because you're all dead, they get the boss, and they're gonna get this fort, almost guaranteed. And the objective is up. It's not worth dying for this.
Pay attention. Watch yourselves.
Taz going for camp. You should absolutely be pathing top. There's nothing for you, bot. Tassadar is fine solo on the camp now. You can see he barely lost health. It's better to go top and get people set up for objective. That doesn't happen. What just happened up there? Generational feed, alright. If you're up there, maybe you can help him. Like, I say that just for actionable advice that you could have done, but really, we just watched Blaze run into 5 people and die. Practically, that's not really on you. It's kind of fat, though. Maybe winnable. Pop Tranquility to heal your throw up. Pop Trank here, your team's... Pop Trank. Okay, never mind. You're still fine, though. As I already said, your up in structures, like, the feed top really put them back in the game. But you're not behind. You're still slightly ahead. You could be significantly more ahead if you hadn't died top. They're probably going to get... ooh, Tassadar, you need to be pinging your Tassadar danger. He's going to die. I think he's still dead. Yeah. Alright, that's not good. So you were ahead, you're slowly getting closer and closer to even or even behind now. Mount up, yeah. Well, you don't need to mount up, you have full 13 boost speed, but head mid. Pop Trank here. Get in there and pop Trank. Trank. Good. Alright. Kind of a late Trank. Yeah, luckily your team kind of all has various self-healing and survivability options. Because they would have died if they hadn't. You popped Trank too late, and you didn't have Qs on everyone. The Qs on everyone is a little forgivable because you weren't there to put the Qs on everyone, but also you could have mounted up and gotten mid a little bit sooner to do that. But that's also kind of just the Malfurion thing, like, you don't pump healing onto people. It's a strong trickle, but it's still a trickle. See if we can take care of top. I'd be playing around bot because they may try and go for bot boss. You have no diva. I would not start it right now. Be careful, because if you step up and get a root there, could have done something. Dude, this Zari is like 0 for 3 on Grouse right now. Fat Black Hole. Not quite enough damage yet, but it's still fine. Pop the Trank, by the way. Again, you're holding Trank for way too long. Okay, I guess your team just didn't need it. That's the advantage of running, like, triple bruiser or whatever. Team's just really fat, and again, their burst damage output is pretty low. You might have to Trank for boss, though. I would innervate your Tassadar here, just so he can pump more abilities. Again, cooldown reduction. You contribute by auto-attacking. Ooh, unless you're looking for that. Oh, but if you're looking for that, drop the root. Good. Huge. Alright. Nice. Good job on your team turning on that. You could have rooted a bit sooner if you were in that bush waiting for to see if someone comes in. Your reaction time is pretty awful on it. If you were just getting vision, I guess that's there's an argument for that, but still, it was a free root on Zebo. But either way, it was a free kill. I'm just nitpicking at this point. I would not step up that far. I'd wait for the boss and for Blaze. Make sure your Qs are refreshed here. Yeah, you get a Q on Blaze. It's Tranquility. This button. Okay, your team still doesn't need it. You're kind of getting carried by two two factors here that I both mentioned, but I'm going to mention again. Number one, your team has a lot of self-sustain on their own. So the fact that you can't pump heals onto them or dropping Qs or aren't pressing Trank doesn't really matter as much when Brawl just keeps like pumping heals, places a bunch of armor, etc., etc. And two, their damage output is kind of bad, especially without Phoenix. So they're not like blowing you up. If you lose this game, I'm very surprised. I think your play here is you're getting keep, and then you're going back to secure objective. Rank. Alright, again, they don't need it. Again, they're like dumping engages and damage into you, but they're just not finishing off. They're just backing up halfway through. So every time I think you need Trank and you don't pop Trank, I'm like, oh, it's a mistake. And then their team just doesn't do anything. I still think you back up here. Actually, you have two keeps down. No, never mind. You try and end. I forgot you got mid keep earlier. I would pop Trank here for sure. Okay, there you go. Yeah. No, you stay. Refresh your Q on Tassadar. I'd be walking up trying to find W's to keep your Tassadar healed up. He's your main core damage. Nice. Bat Moonfires. This is where Malfurion really excels. So you're just like set up sieging. They can't really get to you. You just keep your team topped up. Oh, swing and rest with Blessed Shield. Nice. Get those Moonfires. Good. Refresh your Q on Fellas. You're dropping Qs. There you go. Good. Alright. Overall, as I said, significantly better Malfurion play than the last time I saw you on this hero, so good job on that. Honestly, this is pretty much what I wanted from you. There's still optimizations to make, but as you know, as we both acknowledge, Malfurion's a fairly complex hero in terms of brain power, so I am not expecting you to be perfect at all. Um, you're still dropping Qs. That's the biggest thing I would look at. But you're stepping up to hit Ws largely. There were some times where you were playing a little bit too far back. So just knowing like what threats or lack of threats the enemy team has on you is good. But that comes more with experience on the hero and knowing what you can get away with. Um, but most of the time you were hitting good Ws. Um, you were dropping Qs as I said, but again, a lot better than last time and a lot more efficient Q usage. You held Trank a lot, which I would say is probably the biggest thing I would want you to work on. Even though you weren't punished for it for the reasons I've described already, uh, still just get used to as soon as people commit to fights, just pop Trank. Just pop Trank. It's the earlier you pop it, the better because it gives armor, and armor gets significantly better the more health you have to get through. And also it's a heal over time. So if someone's low, you can't really save them with Trank. If they're high, you can keep them high, and they have their actual health bar as a buffer to keep receiving more heal over time ticks. Um, Honestly, I'm happy with where you are now. If you just keep doing what you're doing, keep these same things in mind, and literally get better at these aspects of the heroes, getting more Moonfires, getting more Qs, keeping your like Q rhythm consistent. I think you'll go really far. This was also a pretty free Malf game, so if you saw that in draft, good job to you. If you didn't, now you know what a really good Malf game looks like. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Either way, good luck in your future games. You're already making a lot of improvements, so I'm excited to see where you go.